The Adelaide Masters series returns to the national circuit here at Mondello Park for the fourth round of the series, and the format is as usual. 2 Supersport 600 races, 2 Superbike races and the Masters final, which combines the 2 classes at the end of the day. But first, let's just remind ourselves of the challenges of this demanding circuit.
We go pillion with Lee Johnson and the Ducati Panigale for a lap of Mondello's national circuit.
Alright, down the start and finish line, up in the 4th gear. Braking just past the bridge, down in the 2nd. Try and miss the oil from earlier on. Back for a late apex. Drive it out, short shift up the 3rd. Another late apex. Try and miss the bump on the way out, stand the bike up straight away. Short shift up the 4th over the crest, get the front wheel down. And in early. Big bump on the inside, downshift twice, back to 2nd, another late apex, a bit more oil on the track there. Then back out over the crest, short shift to 3rd. In here, tip it early and then run back out again, back down to 2nd. Late apex again, try and tip the grass, short shift to 3rd. Another big bump in the middle of this and getting out on the gas hard up to 3rd. Back to 2nd for the last corner, late apex again. Drive it right out across the rumble strip, short shift on the way out, keep the wheel down again, straight up to 4th gear, back over the start finish line.
Do that right 10 or 12 times and you could be on maximum points for the series.
We're over halfway through the season now with just 2 rounds remaining, and as always, things move fast in this growing series. Barry Simmons has been up and down the pit lane getting the latest developments, including the news of a truly international entry.
Well, as Karen said, this week's Adelaide Masters has got an international flavour. What sort of racing did you do in America? I know you've been to Daytona.
Yeah, I did AMA Daytona Superbike for the past 2 years for Superbike Racing, and then I came over here and Philip and Mark Hamilton put a ride together for me with the Super Stock bike, and you know, everything's been going great, and I really can't thank them enough for it.
And you've been here before, I believe, about 3 or 4 years ago on the long circuit.
Yeah, I was here when I was like 13 or 14 on 125. I was riding for Gary Ryan. So, you know, it's great to be back here, and I still had to come back and learn the track.
BJ Jacobsen is on the Tyco Suzuki today.
The Tyco guys gave me a great bike, and Mark Hamilton from Irish Bike. They put this whole deal together for me. My mechanic, big man, just everyone kind of put the deal together for me, and just getting a lot of track time and just testing for next weekend at Donington.
Mark Kelly, also known as Big Man, you're looking after PJ today. Now, I think we first met when you'd finished the tuning job on Noah's Ark.
I've worked with PJ since he was 12, out in America when he just started racing, so he's grew up with me. Unfortunately for PJ, he's had a rough education. We went out for a walk around the track last night because PJ was telling me the things that he was doing, and of course I was lucky enough to have done hundreds and maybe thousands of laps around here, so I was kind of able to show him a few pointers. So he went out this morning and he tried a few different things. He's a lot happier, but even yesterday doing his own thing, he was still on the time, so we're looking forward to a good race today.
Davy Hare was one of the stars at Bishop's Court, but there was a potentially dangerous twist that seriously compromised his performance that day.
The main feature race, we had a few problems. With the 3rd or 4th lap, I picked up seems to be a caliber bolt from, I don't know how, the circuit's very clean. So it came from somewhere during the day, but it definitely, I don't know if you'd see it on TV, but it caused me a few problems now on most of the left-handers, trying to get on the throttle. But I was more than happy to sort of up there, still battling with the guys with that sort of problem.
I'm surprised that didn't go down. It's given a new meaning to the word nail it.
McCormick seemed to have the Supersports series sewn up, but the Bishop's Court race has changed things for Johnny Buckley.
McCormick had a bad weekend that weekend, so we made the most of it. We got a 1st and a 3rd, so fingers crossed we can try and claw back a lot of points in this championship. It's going to be hard, but we'll try our best, you know.
And you're fully recovered from your tumble earlier in the year?
Yeah, I've had a few of them this year, so I have. My luck has been very good this year. Every time down here, of course, but hopefully this is the last couple of races now. We can try and stay on for once.
McCormick's Supersports problems were greater than we had realised at Bishop's Court.
There was a problem flying over from the Ulster Grand Prix. The engine, unfortunately, was no more. So we were struggling and we had a spare bike there, but to be honest, it was a road bike. It was a bog standard bike, and thanks to Noli for giving loan us to it, but I really struggled, to be honest, and I qualified so bad. I really struggled to get through everybody. Like, there's no one slow out there. From the top 15 up, there's no one slow. And I struggled a bit, but we got some points together, and that was the main thing anyway.
Brian's lead in the Super Sports is under threat from Johnny Buckley. But there's been a setback for Barry Lee Johnson, who is his challenger in Superbikes.
We've had one of the best days practicing so far this year, and then just in the last lap as the checkered flag went out, the rain came on. Just coming out of one of the back turns, he just got a high side. But we worked with that through the evening, and everything is resolved now, and hopefully we can have a good day today.
I feel a wee bit second-hand, to be honest. Obviously just got caught out. It was raining at the back of the track, and it wasn't in the first section, and obviously went in at the same speed it was going in all day, and obviously got caught out at quite a big high side. But that's it. Like, I've been quite lucky all the year and stuff, so you have to take the rough with the smooth.
Martin was saying you had a very good day of practice yesterday.
Yeah, obviously we got the new shock and some more bits with the bike and stuff, so it's going in the right direction. I'm feeling more comfortable all the time, and obviously we went a bit quicker yesterday than we've been any other time here and stuff. So yeah, it was just frustration to have that wee slip off. Obviously I want to be in full fitness and stuff, but yeah, I'll be very annoyed if we don't get a few wins today.
Now we're up to speed with all the latest gossip. After the break, we'll be up to speed with the Super Sports 600s. Brian McCormack, by his standards, had a poor day at Bishopscourt, but he still has a 17-point lead over Johnny Buckley in the Supersport 600 series. Now, Brian is back on his home circuit, so we can expect fireworks from the Waterford rider.
At last, we have a dry day at Mondello, and Brian's Supersports challenger, Johnny Buckley, is on pole, with Brian McCormack, Davy Hare and Carl Phillips on the front row. Our onboards are Luke Johnson on the Yamaha R6 and Davy Hare on the Honda CBR 600.
So waiting for the lights to go out to signal the start of the race. The man with the red flag moves to the side of the track in area of safety. Johnny Buckley in the red bike in pole position. Down into fourth corner for the first time of 10. Who's going to get the holds out is Brian McCormack. Brian McCormack leads into the corner. No, it's not, it's Carl Phillips. And they're coming together there between Conlon and Johnny Buckley, the pole position man. Buckley hits the ground once more. Well, I think it has to be said it wasn't really his fault this time.
So it's Mark Conlon all locked up, and he just touches the wheel of Johnny Buckley, number 222, and down Johnny goes. So hard luck for Johnny. But back at the front, it's Brian McCormack from Carl Phillips. So here we're on board with the Cup Championship leader Luke Johnson on his Yamaha R6, just as we go through Bridgestone Corner. Fabulous on-board shot, and Luke's touched by another rider and he's off.
Oh, so let's have another look at that incident there. Luke into the corner, and I think he just actually tipped the back wheel of Declan Swanton there, and that brought him off. He's back up on his feet, he's okay, but he shakes his head and walks away in disgust.
I'm back with the leaders, but look at the bike at the back of the shot there. It looks like Derek McGee nearly completely over the high side, loses the front, gets the rear, and is completely out of shape through irishferries.com.
Yeah, that's as close to a high side without coming off.
So back on board with Davy here, and look at this move from Declan Hoey under Jamie Patterson. Great riding, but Jamie Patterson takes it back, so great on board shot action here.
Yeah, Declan just went a wee bit too wide coming into turn one that time and lost out because of it. The back of the leaders once again, that's big Brian McCormack in the lead. Carl Phillips on the Sandown Yamaha in there in second place. Number 89 there, the white fared machine is Mark Conlon from Belfast, 22-year-old Mark. Well up with the leading pack in this one. So we see him trying to overtake Declan Hoey. Going up the inside of Hoey, and he does make it stick as he gets out onto the start-finish straight this time.
And a great move from Mark Conlon there, up in position. But back with the leaders here is Brian McCormack, Carl Phillips in second, and he's under huge pressure now from Davy Hare, the only Honda CBR 600 mounted rider in this field, and he's at third position at the moment, and he wants to win.
And Jimmy Patterson there in fourth place as he comes through turn 2, but back with the runner-up position at the moment, that's Carl Phillips, number 32. And behind him is David Hare on the 600 Honda. David Hare in third position. And there is Mark Conlon just aviating the front wheel a wee bit as he comes back in from the country. Number 89, Mark Conlon. and he still has got Declan Hoey, number 80, right on his wheel tracks. Hoey wants to get that position back from Conlon, can't quite make it.
Yeah, and back at the front, it's Brian McCormack beginning to really break the chasing pack here. Carl Phillips and David Hare beginning to get dropped off. McCormack looks like he's about 1.2 seconds a lap quicker than these two, but Davy Hare makes a move now. So Davy Hare up the inside of Carl Phillips. So Davy laid on the brakes, pushed Carl Phillips wide, and he manages to hold that.
But will David Hare make it stick? He does as he goes into turn 2. And we look back from David Hare on board camera at Carl Phillips. There's very little between them as they head out into the country this time. David Hare giving us a lovely onboard camera shot looking backwards from the rear of his machine. Carl Phillips takes the corner a little bit wide on the entrance, then tucks it back into the apex again. Here they come back towards us, towards the paddock bend. And it's still David Hare from Carl Phillips. They're dicing it out for second position in this terrific race here at Mondello Park. The first time out for the Supersport 600s.
Yeah, George, and Carl Phillips looks really strong on the brakes. Every corner we come to, he gains right up on the back of Davy Hare.
Yeah, and he's trying to find an alternative line to get up the inside on the exit of the corner here, but couldn't quite make it. David Hare has got terrific drive in that B&W sponsored Honda that he's on.
Back with Brian McCormack at the front, and he's done a little bit of showboat there, backing it into turn 1. Davy Hare in second, and Carl Phillips in third on the yellow and green Yamaha R6 as they just go out with shot there.
Yeah, but it's a wee bit too early in this race just to be showboating, I think, Jim, because there's still 2.5 laps to go in this one yet. It's a 10-lapper, don't forget, and he's not that far ahead of David Hare and Carl Phillips.
Well, it looks like David Hare is beginning to break a little gap there on Carl Phillips in third position, so maybe David Hare is actually it's half a second quicker that lap, but Carl Phillips is closed right back up again on the back of David Hare.
Yeah, meanwhile it's still Patterson and Conlon 4th and 5th in this terrific scrap here. They're both on Suzuki machinery.
Yeah, here comes Jamie Patterson, number 10 on the RPM Suzuki GSX-R 600, and it's 89 Mark Conlon dives up the inside of Jamie Patterson to turn 1, but Jamie takes it back on the exit, does he?
And Declan Hoey's with them as well. It's a 3-way scrap for 4th place, and they're coming on to the last lap.
Yeah, and Jamie Patterson, number 10 there, looks really strong on the brakes as they go into turn 1. He's in behind number 89 Mark Conlon in 4th position.
Certainly this is Mark Conlon's best showing this year so far. Patterson in behind him there. John Mark Conlon hold on to that 4th position to the checkered flag. Don't forget they're on the last lap. And don't discount Declan Hoey. He's still in there in this scrap as well as they come back round from Bridgestone Corner for the 10th and final time. And Declan Hoey almost up out of the seat that time as they come over the rise.
And here we're back with the leader, Big Mac Brian McCormack, as he rounds Dunlop Corner for the 10th and final time from David Hare in second position. And I must say a fabulous third position here for number 32, Carl Phillips.
Brian McCormack is back on top after Johnny Buckley's challenge ended in the first corner. Jason Lynn, a newcomer to Mondello, is the cup winner.
It's great to come down in the first round of this Masters series. We done at Bishop's Court and we got 2 fantastic seconds, and we've come here today and got the win in the first race. Hopefully we can repeat that in the second race.
The Yamaha's going really well this weekend.
Yeah, it is. We had a little bit of bad luck with it in the last round where I had to jump on a spare bike. It was basically a road bike, so I'm delighted to have it back. It's a lovely little bike to ride. Just makes my life really hard with 5 races in one day, but sure, that's all the work is about.
Brian McCormack is back at Mondello and back on top of the podium. He now has 4 Supersport wins around this circuit here in Mondello. Can he make it 5?
10 laps this morning and now 12, and it's good to see Johnny Buckley is okay and his Yamaha R6 has been repaired. Keep her upright this time, Johnny. McCormack is the man, however, but not if Davy Hare can do anything about it. That's the ever-improving Carl Phillips, number 32. And then we move to the second row where we find Mark Conlon, number 89, and Declan Hoey, number 80. We will be looking back from Brian McCormack's Yamaha R6 and Mark Conlon's Suzuki.
And the tension builds here for the Supersport 600 race at Mondello Park. And it looks like it's number 32, Carl Phillips gets the whole shot as the riders come towards the first corner. Carl Phillips battling out there with Davy Hare and Brian McCormack. And McCormack takes it from Johnny Buckley and Davy Hare in 3rd position.
And Carl Phillips in there in 4th place, followed by Derek McGee in 5th position, the green machine. Everyone safely through turn 2. And I think McCormick had a wee bit of a slide there in turn 2, and that has given the advantage to Johnny Buckley. Buckley leads them. We're on board with Mark Conlon, looking back at the rest of the pack.
And that's number 68, the man from Cork, Declan Swanton, on the Yamaha R6 as he tries to go back around the outside of Mark Conlon. That's not really going to work, and maybe it will. Maybe I've been proved wrong, but it doesn't. So Mark Conlon still on front of Declan Swanton. Great on-board action here from Mondello Park.
Up into the lap corner is still Johnny Buckley, leads from McCormick, with David Hare still in 3rd place, and Carl Phillips in 4th position. No change there in the top 4 as they come round to complete the first lap.
So back to Johnny Buckley, 2-2-2 on the module road and race. Yamaha R6 leads. And Declan Hoey diving up the inside of Mark Conlon here. Great move here. Oh, that was a close one. And Jamie Patterson, the benefactor of that move.
Yeah, but Declan Hoey outbraked himself coming into turn 1, and he lost out because of it there.
So great on-board action here, and Jamie Patterson, the man on the move, and he's gained a lot of positions on this lap. He started on the 3rd row, and he's up to 5th position already, so great run here from Jamie Patterson.
Yeah, Jamie Patterson was a 125 Irish champion in the clubman's class way back in 2007. He's come on a lot since then, and he's given up the 125s in favour of the Supersport 600s.
Johnny Buckley leads here from Brian McCormick, and Davy Hare closing back in on the back of McCormick, and they're not losing Carl Phillips there either, number 32.
Oh, Carl Phillips, he was a past clubman champion in the Supersport 600 class. That was just last year, mind you.
And Brian McCormick completely sideways into turn 1 there. So Brian McCormick locks up the back wheel on the downshift and drifts it into turn 1. Johnny Buckley leads from Brian McCormick and Davy Hare in 3rd position.
Yeah, Brian McCormick really trying to get up into the number 1 slot there. He knows he has to get up in there to keep that advantage in the series. So let's just listen to the R6 Yamaha of Brian McCormick as he takes it up near the maximum revs, near the rev limiter, and then back down through the rev range again, up a couple of gears for Master Corner, the tight left-hander, the quick flick through into the right-hander, which will lead them up into Dunlop Corner.
And it looks like number 111, Brian McCormick, about to close in on Johnny Buckley. So Johnny Buckley under big pressure here now from the championship leader, Brian McCormick. Davy Hare certainly hasn't given up in 3rd position. And the man of the meeting so far, number 32, Carl Phillips, he's beginning to close right in on these guys. He's learned a lot over the last few meetings, and I think he's coming for a victory here this weekend.
Carl Phillips are in 4th place in this 4-cornered scrap. They're very, very close together, just about 1 second. We'll cover all 4 of them as they head up towards Bridgestone once again. It's still the red machine of number 222 in the lead. That is Johnny Buckley, the man from Dunadry. Carl Phillips bringing up the rear of that foursome.
And it's been a while, George, since we've seen a race like this here at Mondello Park. 4 riders battling out for the lead. Back to the 250 days of years gone by, but Carl Phillips tries to go around the outside of Davy here. That's not going to work there, but nose to tail. These guys are all on the lap record pace. Brian McCormick hot on the heels of Johnny Buckley, the leader, but he's under big pressure from the 2 riders behind, Davy Hare and Carl Phillips. And Davy Hare makes a move as they come onto the start-finish straight, George.
David Hare from Lisburn on the CBR 600, and below the bridge as they come down into turn 1. And he still has got Carl Phillips breathing down his neck. It's still a 4-way scrap here. Who's going to come out on top in this one? At the moment, it's Johnny Buckley, and he won't want to throw this one away, having been tipped off in the very first corner of the first event.
An epic battle at the front of the Supersport 600 field here. 4 riders fighting out tooth and nail for the victory here. Johnny Buckley leads Brian McCormick, Davy Hare and Carl Phillips in 4th position as they come back down towards Mazda turn. So, oh look, it's McCormick up the inside. Johnny Buckley runs a little bit wide, and Carl Phillips 32. So 2 changes at the front of this field here. McCormick leads from Johnny Buckley, Carl Phillips now up to 3rd, and Davy Hare down to 4th position.
So there's all change here as they come up into Dunlop. It's McCormick. McCormick takes the inside line, tries the defensive line there to keep Buckley at bay. Carl Phillips still 3rd, David Hare in 4th place as they come across the line to complete another lap.
Yeah, and Johnny Buckley tries to go around the outside there, George. I don't think that's really going to work into turn 1, but maybe he's going to prove me wrong.
Yeah, and there's only 2 laps left in this, and it was almost a change of leadership there, but Big Brian McCormick still holds on to that advantage from Buckley. On board with McCormick at the moment, looking back at Buckley.
And the danger man here is 32, Carl Phillips, George. He hasn't won a race, and he really wants to win here at Mondello Park this weekend. But Johnny Buckley trying to go around the outside of McCormick again. But Carl Phillips up to 2nd. Great move there from number 32, Carl Phillips, into 2nd position.
That's his best running position so far in this event. In fact, it's his best running position so far in this series. But what's going to happen here, because is the back marker going to get in the way of the four guys as they come up into the lap this time? Well, they can safely pass him. Well, McCormick's okay. Phillips hasn't got past him yet. Yes, he has now. It's still in third place, the red machine of number 222. That's Johnny Buckley. And bringing up there is David Hare. Can he get past the back marker? Yes, he can safely pass them. They're on to the 12th and final lap. 1 lap to go.
Well, McCormick holds a defensive line there from Carl Phillips. Johnny Buckley in third, and he's not given up on a victory here yet. McCormick leads from Carl Phillips, Johnny Buckley, and Davy Hare looks like he's dropping out of this one just a little bit. That's just the back marker going through the shop. But back on McCormick here, Carl Phillips all over McCormick. So can this young kid from Lisburn do the victory here for the Sandown Racing team this weekend?
And you can almost see the concentration behind the visor in Carl Phillips' eyes there as he comes back from the country. Still in that second position. Can he finish this race under runner-up place? He goes for the move, he gets the lead.
Yeah, and a big move there from Phillips, and he runs wide. That allowed Johnny Buckley to the lead. So Carl Phillips back to second, McCormick in third, and it's Davy Hare. He's tailed off now in fourth position. That's a back marker over to one side, but Johnny Buckley leads through Dunlop Corner. Carl Phillips hard on the gas for second, McCormick in third, and he's under pressure from Davy Hare in fourth.
But Hare gets it on the line there for that third place.
What a win for Johnny Buckley. Carl Phillips gets his best result to date in second, and Brian McCormick was dropped to fourth on the line. Behind all this, Dean McMaster is the cup winner. And the Phillips clan gathered to applaud young Carl's great second place.
Yeah, over the moon, what awesome race. Just that last lap, it's brilliant. Over the moon, what unreal.
But Buckley is the big super sports winner this afternoon.
Been waiting for a long time for that this year. Every time we come down here, luck runs out, and this weekend was pretty much the same. A win and 2 crashes, so hopefully next time get a better run, you know.
McCormick has increased his lead in the Super Sports Series, and Carl Phillips moves ahead of Johnny Buckley to take second.
Next, it's the Superbikes here at Mondello, and that's in just a few minutes' time after the break. Brian McCormick, as he has done all season, is also the Superbike Series leader. And amazingly, as in the Super Sports, he is an identical 17 points ahead of his nearest rival. His rival, however, is Lee Johnston on the Ducati, and we saw how well that combination worked in Bishop's Court.
But it's the young American BJ Jacobsen who has created the sensation by placing the Tyco Suzuki on pole. Then we have the championship contenders, Brian McCormick and Lee Johnson. And Lee is carrying our onboard camera.
So all the pressure this weekend on championship leader number 111, Brian McCormick, and he's on the centre of the front row, and it's a great start there from McCormick as he leads down into the first corner. Lee Johnson, number 32, dives on the inside, but it's PJ Jacobsen, the young guy from New York, tries to go around the outside of Brian McCormick.
Yeah, but will he make it stick? Oh, he does make it stick. That was an unusual move there, right round the outside in turn one of anybody, let alone Brian McCormick. And it's Lee Johnson in third place as they come towards Bridgestone Corner. Now on board with Lee from McGuire's Bridge in County Fermanagh, chasing after Brian McCormick. He almost had him there on the inside, going up through that corner, but didn't quite make it. Meanwhile, BJ Jacobsen, the man out in front, trying to make a breakaway. McCormick goes very, very wide there. Is that going to let Lee Johnson up the inside? No, not quite. Couldn't take advantage there.
And what an opening lap here from PJ Jacobsen on the Tyco Suzuki at the front of the field. Brian McCormick in second position and Lee Johnson in third. Evan Delaney in fourth.
Yeah, number 32, Evan Delaney in that fourth place from Clonmel, or just outside Clonmel.
And back with the leaders, Lee Johnson dives up the inside of Brian McCormick, pushes him a little bit wide, so Lee Johnson up into second position. The red and white Ducati 1199cc, so that's a lot of horsepower, up into second position. He's pulling away immediately from Brian McCormick, hot in pursuit of PJ Jacobsen.
And PJ Jacobsen also on a super stock machine, which is basically an untuned Superbike.
And some great midfield battles there. That's Evan Delaney going through at the front of that pack there. Number 48, the red and white Honda of Damien Byrne. And the first cup runner is number 41. A big shout out there for Melvin Hollingsworth. And he's diving underneath the inside of Damien Byrne. So Melvin Hollingsworth up a position as well. And Damien Byrne, one of the front runners from last year's series, struggling here this weekend. He's battling with the cup runner. And Melvin Hollingsworth dives up the inside of Evan Delaney. So Melvin Hollingsworth striding towards the front of this field.
Number 7, Peter Maloney in there as well, among the mix with the white back to the leathers.
That's a big Yamaha R1, George. That's a handful around Mondello here. And a great battle here between Hollingsworth, Delaney, Byrne and Maloney as they stride to get around Mondello Park.
And then coming into the picture in 8th position there, number 50, is Mark Glasgow from Antrim.
And what a result here for Melvin Hollingsworth, number 41, striding ahead of Evan Delaney, Damien Byrne and Peter Maloney on the big Yamaha R1. But back with PJ Jacobsen at the front here on the Tyco Suzuki GSX R1000. He's beginning to pull a huge lead here over Lee Johnson and Brian McCormack in 3rd position.
He's a vastly experienced rider. He has done flat track racing, he has done ice racing back home in America. He actually finished 3rd, you know, he was on the podium at Bishop's Court. That's about 4 years ago, but he was on a 1:25 then.
And a great run here from Peter Maloney. He's in 2nd position in the Cup result. He's just ahead of number 50 there. That's Mark Glasgow on the GSX R1000.
And he's right in behind Damien Byrne there, the course specialist here at Mondello Park.
Yeah, and Damien trying to make a move there on Evan Delaney. So Damien Byrne, Peter Maloney and Evan Delaney really battling it out, George.
Just look at Melvin Hollingsworth, he's still in among the mix there as well. As they go out into the country once again. And it's Damien Byrne trying to get the better of Evan Delaney as they come into Bridgestone this time, but can't quite make it. So once again, it's the guy in the middle. You wouldn't really want to be that guy there, but he's trying to hold the defensive line to keep Maloney at bay, yet get ahead of Evan Delaney.
Damien Byrne makes a really good charge now, and he goes around the outside of Evan Delaney. So great pass there by Damien Byrne, number 48 on the red and white Honda CBR 1000. Fabulous pass on Evan Delaney. So he's up into 5th position now, just behind of Elvin Hollingsworth.
Yeah, he really showed the experience counted there in that manoeuvre through Mazda corner.
And Mark Glasgow, number 50 now, right up in the back of Peter Maloney. So Mark Glasgow beginning to get the move on.
Peter Maloney making a move on Evan Delaney as they come into turn 1 this time. Maloney makes it stick too. Evan Delaney slotted down one place and still right on his heels is Mark Glasgow.
He does indeed, George, and Mark Glasgow definitely on the move here. He's beginning to close in, but back with the Tyco Suzuki rider PJ Jacobsen. He's showboating here at the front. What a display from this young kid from New York. He's absolutely decimated the field here. Lee Johnson not even within sight. We've got a waved yellow flag in the background, and we have a rider just climbing over the bank there. So rider perfectly okay, but PJ Jacobsen coming on to the start-finish straight.
Yeah, he's only in this country a couple of months. Beginning of July, arrived in Ireland. He's done a couple of the British Superbike Championships for Philip Neal, the head of the Tyco Suzuki team.
Yeah, George, I wonder is that Guy Martins or Conor Cummins' Tyco Suzuki from the Isle of Man TT that PJ is getting to stretch the legs of?
I'm not sure, but it's certainly set up for PJ the way he's going there at the moment.
Yeah, and Damien Byrne beginning to come back here at Melvin Hollingsworth. So Damien Byrne, 48 there, beginning to push forward. Now, we've seen a great form from Damien, but not so much this year. But maybe he's beginning to regain a bit of his form now. He's really, really pushed on. And can he get around the outside here? What a manoeuvre here from Damien Byrne. Fantastic bit of riding.
I was actually surprised that Melvin Hollingsworth held him off so long there.
And he's changed a lot on that machine over the winter, so he's probably only come to terms with all the changes to it. Now, but look at McCormack up the inside of Lee Johnson. Great move there from Brian McCormack up underneath Lee Johnson. Shoves Lee a little bit wide and up into 2nd position, so he's putting his fist down in this championship. He wants that win for the Mondello Masters.
Yeah, on board with Lee Johnson, looking at the tail end of Brian McCormack.
And they're the 2 championship runners. Brian McCormack leads from about 15 points, I think, from Lee Johnson in 2nd position. So this is the championship on the track as we're seeing it.
Yeah, PJ Jacobsen out in front of this pair here, and he's actually acting as a spoiler here at the moment in the series.
And it's a championship battle here. McCormack is leading the championship. He's in 2nd place in the race, but Lee Johnson's in 3rd in the race. He's injured though from a practice crash yesterday, so he's really struggling. I've seen him trying to get on the bike, and he's really struggling for fitness here today in Mondello Park. Back to the leader, PJ Jacobsen. George, what can you say about this kid?
Yeah, PJ is out on his own. Did you notice the squiggles, the fishtail at the rear end as he came into the corner there? He's out on his own, but the main interest here, it's this big battle between McCormack and Lee Johnson. They're lying 1st and 2nd in the championship at the moment.
Yeah, and Lee Johnson, George, he's hard on the gas. He's trying to beat McCormack. He needs those vital championship points as they start the last lap here at Mondello Park. Lee Johnson dives, tries up the inside of McCormack. McCormack defends, so really good riding there from Brian McCormack.
Yeah, but after 10 laps, maybe those injuries that he sustained during the practice are just trying to tell on him a wee bit.
Oh, you're right there, George. Look, Lee Johnson runs a little bit wide, so maybe those injuries are beginning to come into play, and that's going to really hurt his championship position here this weekend. McCormack beginning to streak away now, so it looks like a steady 2nd position for Brian McCormack, and it's definitely going to be 3rd position for Lee Johnson.
So it's a great return to Mondello Park for PJ Jacobsen after 4 years when he rode here in the 125.
A class win for Jacobsen and a great showing for Melvin Hollingsworth in 5th, the Cup winner.
I believe it. I've moved up to the big bike and been struggling a bit now, so it's coming together now.
What about the little machine? You decided the big ones were for you?
Yeah, just too cramped on it. It was a very small bike, and it's just I've done 2 years in it, learned the tracks, so I thought I'd move up, try the thousands, and it's turned out alright.
PJ Jacobsen, you made that look easy.
Yeah, it wasn't that easy. I just I got in it. We had a track day yesterday, so it was pretty good to find a good race setup and stuff. So just went out there and put a nice new tire on, just went for it and just kind of rode my own race.
PJ Jacobsen provided the big surprise in Superbike Race 1. Can he keep up the momentum for Race 2?
But the tension is between the championship contenders, who reflect on their first Superbike outing of the day.
The tyre just did not work, and I had to wait for it to come to me, and then I saw a lead in and I said, right, that's my championship contender. So I said, work hard, get past him, and see what happens, you know. But PJ was too far ahead. He put in the first 2 or 3 laps were brilliant, you know. Fair dues to him. But next time I'll have a tyre ready for the start of the race.
We had an electrical problem on my first bike this morning, so we had to use the second one. We just didn't have time to get all the settings and stuff changed over. So between that and bike and myself, obviously I was struggling quite a bit. Like I think I'm about second off what I was doing yesterday. So it's hard to take when you're trying to gain points back. But obviously we should have time now for the second race to get the good bike back in action. And I'm gonna go get a bit of physio and stuff now and get myself sorted out.
Jacobsen, McCormick, Johnson and Byrne on the front row. Then on the second row we have the Cup hero, Melvin Hollingsworth, Evan Delaney, Brian Coomey and Mark Glasgow. And our onboards are with the championship protagonists, Brian McCormick and Lee Johnston.
The riders come under starters orders from Dave Cutters. He runs to the side of the circuit, and a little bit of creeping there, but it looks like the start got away from PJ Jacobsen, got the whole shot again from Brian McCormick, and Lee Johnson lets go of the brake. So Lee Johnson making a move for the lead, but he slots back into second position.
And McCormick in 3rd place as they went through turn 1 that time. And who is it in behind him? It's Damien Byrne in 4th place. Out into the country, on board with Lee Johnson, looking at the rear end of the Tyco Suzuki of PJ Jacobsen. That was very close going around that tight corner there, double apex corner. Back in towards Mazda is PJ that leads from Lee Johnson. Where's McCormick? There he is in 3rd place, Damien Byrne 4th.
And that was Melvin Hollingsworth going through the picture in 5th position. But PJ Jacobsen's great advantage at Mondello is he's such a lightning starter. But look at Lee Johnson on the brakes into Dunlop. Lee Johnson laid on the brakes, shoves PJ just slightly to the left-hand side, takes the lead. So it's Lee Johnson from PJ Jacobsen, Brian McCormick in 3rd, and a great start this time from Damien Byrne in 4th position.
Yeah, Damien Byrne making a better showing this time than he did in the previous event. But it's still Lee Johnson who holds the advantage out in front there. Jacobsen close behind him in 2nd place. Jacobsen's going to make a race of this one okay. Brian McCormick just not quite on the same pace on the opening lap as the leading 2 guys.
Now, I spoke to Brian earlier, and he's having a few tyre issues today. He's taken 2 or 3 laps for the tyres to come to temperature. And look, and saying that, Lee Johnson out of the seat, so a huge moment there for Lee Johnson. PJ Jacobsen seen the whole side of that Panigale in his view.
That was almost the high side there from Lee Johnson, but he held it well. Not forgetting, of course, that he was injured in practice and still a bit sore, and that won't improve his condition any.
Definitely not. It won't improve my condition any either, because it was a huge moment for Lee Johnson. But PJ Jacobsen, 2nd position. Brian McCormick now beginning to move on. So, as we said earlier, his tyres are taking a little time to come to temperature, and now he's chasing down the 2 front runners.
Yeah, and it's still Damien Byrne in 4th place on the SB Maintenance Honda, the big Fireblade.
And a mistake there from PJ Jacobsen, where he lost the front. He's after losing a bit of ground now. George, look at that. Lee Johnson's got maybe a 2.5 seconds on PJ Jacobsen already. So that was a really costly error for that rider.
And that would allow Brian McCormick to close in on PJ Jacobsen. He really wants to get past PJ to get up on equal terms with Lee Johnson. Because the way they stand at the moment, well, they'll be losing a lot of points in the championship to Lee Johnson.
and Lee Johnson beginning to streak away at the front of this field. He's got maybe 2.5 seconds over PJ. PJ Jacobsen checking over his shoulder. They're not quite sure what that was about. And McCormack closing right in on the back of him as he comes through Dunlop corner. And PJ checks behind him again, so maybe PJ has a problem. He has a problem, George, so McCormack's up to second. Championship back on track.
Yeah, well, that will relieve McCormack's mind just a little bit. He's a clear run in front of him now to try and catch Lee Johnson, who's his main challenger in this series.
And some great onboard action here this weekend with the sunny skies at Mondello Park. And back with the battle for 7th position, it looks like Peter Maloney up the inside of Brian Coombe, Evan Delaney holding off a bit of a battle, and just behind them is number 55, Jonathan Ralph.
Delaney, Coombe and Maloney are all cup runners, and behind them is Jonathan Ralph, and then there's Frank Smith, another of the cup runners, number 56, and behind that 4.
And a great run there from Brian Coombe on the GSXR 1000. The red bike there just dives underneath number 7, Peter Maloney, as they go through Bridgestone corner and head back towards Mazda.
And Jonathan Ralph, number 55, is right on behind him again. Then we have number 56. He's still in the hunt as well, just a wee bit behind this foursome. Number 56, Frank Smith, another of the cup runners.
And a huge battle here for this position. Brian Coombe dives underneath Evan Delaney and is going to get the two of them. So Evan Delaney shoved back to the second in that battle, and Peter Maloney. So there's a bit of 50 cuffs there, George, for that position.
Yeah, that's for 7th place. Don't forget that out ahead of them here we have Glasgow and Hollingsworth. They're scrapping it out for 5th and 6th places. But Coombe takes over at the front for the 7th position as they go around turn 1 from Delaney.
That's some result for Brian Coombe. Last year that bike was here at George. It's got headlights and it was a road bike, so he's converted it over the winter to a race bike. But there's number 50, Mark Glasgow, and he's under big pressure there from Melvin Hollingsworth, the first of the cup runners.
But back with the 2nd place runner, Brian McCormack, chasing after Lee Johnson. These are the two guys that are fighting it out for the championship.
Yeah, George, he's going to be trying to be working out championship points in his head as well as race the bike, so he knows as long as he stays in view of Lee Johnson, he's not going to lose too many points. Oh, back marker just where you don't want him.
Yeah, but he's going to lose 5 points. He doesn't even want to lose those 5 points at this stage with still 1 round at Mondello Park remaining.
Yes, and the next event is here at Mondello Park. It's the international circuit, and it's over 2 days, so there's three races for the Masters series. A lot of points to be gained and lost time.
Back on board with the Millsport Panigale rider, Lee Johnson into Dunlop for the last time but one, out onto the start-finish straight, and across the line. There's just 1 more lap to go, and he won't be feeling just quite so much pain now that he is in front. Well, a wee bit in front, but there is Brian McCormack really sliding the rear end of the machine into turn 1. Still Johnson the lead out of turn 1, but it didn't quite get him any advantage here. Still McCormack in that 2nd place, and he'll be trying his hardest to get up on even terms. We're on the last lap now, and there's 25 points at stake for the win. There's only 20 points for 2nd position.
Yeah, McCormack chasing Johnson down. He's really putting the hammer down. Look, George, he's beginning to slide the bike. Lee Johnson under the screen. These guys are pushing to the limit. Lee Johnson hard on the brakes. See the bike squirm as it comes into Mazda. McCormack's gained a bit of an advantage into Mazda there, so McCormack very strong on the brakes.
He really has got a lot closer there as they come up into Dunlop corner for the final time. Only 1 corner to go. It's all in this one. It's a do-or-die effort. Will McCormack make a lunge? No, he's not close enough.
No, and it's Lee Johnson from Brian McCormack out of the last turn or so. I don't think McCormack can pass him down the start-finish straight, so it's going to be Lee Johnson from Brian McCormack.
McCormack's so close at the finish, but a fine win for Lee Johnson nursing those injuries. Amazingly, Jacobsen salvaged a 3rd place, having to do the final 7 laps stuck in 3rd gear.
Pulled a tiny gap on Brian and that, and then obviously some back markers come into play, and he was right back on me again. And the last thing in my sort of shape I need to be is battling in the last few laps, but yeah, we managed to hang on for the win, and really happy for the whole team and everything, so it's a really good result.
Lee has narrowed the gap between him and Brian to 16 points with 3 races still to come. Join us after the break for the Masters final.
Welcome back. Well, we saw at Bishop's Court that the Superbikes were out on their own. Here in Mondello, the story can be very different, where the lighter 600s can often give the big bikes some serious opposition. That's the intriguing situation as both classes join for the Adelaide Masters final.
Lee Johnson may be sore after his fall yesterday, but as we have seen, his injuries are not holding him back too severely on the Ducati. PJ Jacobsen has the gear change mechanism repaired for the big race on number 99, And Brian McCormick, 111, has yet to win a Superbike race today. And Davy Hare is the quickest of the Supersports. Add into that mix Carl Phillips, who's been having a fabulous day in Supersports at number 32, Damien Byrne on the Honda Fireblade number 48, Melvin Hollingsworth number 41 with 2 Cup wins in Superbikes, and Johnny Buckley number 222, a Supersports winner, and you have a fascinating lineup. Mark Conlon carries her on board.
Here we are for the final race of the day, the big money one. There's no championship points at stake here. It's all about the cash. They wait for the lights to go out, away they go. McCormick has got the whole shot in this one. Yeah, McCormick leads into turn 1. And McCormick holds the advantage into turn 1, even though the back of the machine squirms about there. David Hare made a pretty good start as well. But don't forget, David Hare is on a Supersport 600. He won't have the power when they come out of turn 2 along straight towards Bridgestone.
So all the riders managing to get through turn 2 safely. McCormick leads from PJ Jacobsen. Lee Johnson in 3rd position. So Lee wants to close in on McCormick. Doesn't want to let McCormick get away this early in the race. But we've seen McCormick struggle earlier on in the races. But he's not struggling this time, George, is he?
Yeah, and he seems to be getting plenty of grip there. The front wheel rising up as he came over the brow of the hill that time.
As the riders come back towards Dunlop, it looks like Lee Johnson in 3rd position getting a big squirm on, so he's trying to push forward. Right behind him in 4th position is Davy Hare, so that's the first of the 600 riders. Impressive start on the first lap there for Davy Hare, 4th position, but our leader Brian McCormick from PJ Jacobsen as they cross the start-finish line.
Into turn 1 for the second time is still Brian McCormick from PJ, from Lee Johnson in 3rd place. Cleanly through is still David Hare on that leading Supersport 600 in 4th position as they go through turn 2. Damien Byrne's in behind him.
On board shot here with Mark Conlon, and filling our screen is Mark Glasgow on the big GSX R1000, the red and silver machine, and he runs slightly wide, allowing Conlon to dive right up behind him. So Mark Conlon right on the heels of Mark Glasgow as they come back towards Mazda corner.
Up into the Dunlop corner, the final corner on the course. PJ goes up the inside of McCormick. McCormick goes wide. Lee Johnson takes advantage of that move, and he moves into 2nd place and behind PJ.
Yeah, George, McCormick just touched the cement dust. That's really slippy where the oil is. He couldn't open the throttle, he had to coast through it, so that cost him those 2 positions. But back on board here with Mark Conlon as we run into Bridgestone corner. There's Mark Glasgow just in front of us. Oh wait, no, he held onto the front brake too long, so Mark Conlon slides off. He held the front brake just a little too long and lost the front.
And as Mark tries to get the bike back up again, just let's take another look at that incident there in slow motion.
So no change back at the front. It's still PJ Jacobsen under huge pressure from Lee Johnson in 2nd, Brian McCormick in 3rd, and a really good 4th place there for Davy Hare on the CBR 600. So he's making the Supersport guys look good this weekend.
So leaders complete lap 4 on to lap number 5. It's still the same running order at the front of the pack. Not that much daylight between the first 4 riders. I wonder will it close up any? Don't forget this is the dash for cash in this 12 lapper as the riders go out into the country once again. That's David Hare on that number 4 Supersport 600, sponsored by Brian and Wendy Hull. That's an axe Keith Amore machine actually that David Hare is on.
Back with the front, it's PJ Jacobsen getting closed right in now from Lee Johnson. So these 2 Super Stock 1000 riders battling it out tooth and nail at the front of the field. PJ Jacobsen had a little technical issue earlier, but he's got no technical issue now apart from Lee Johnson shoving him out of the way. So great move there by Lee Johnson on the big Panigale as he takes the lead of this dash for cash.
Yeah, Lee Johnson takes a look over the right shoulder there to see where the opposition was, but he's the guy in for the big money this time. And Brian McCormick isn't finished either. He's still in that 3rd place. He really is the master of the late breaks on the tide line coming into each corner.
Yeah, and a bit of a gap there been pulled by Lee Johnson in half a lap already. So Lee Johnson right on the lap record. McCormick gets a bit of a slide as he comes into Bridgestone. That's a really quick place, George. They're doing about 120 miles an hour as they touch the brakes to tip into Bridgestone.
And they're back up to that 120 again, I would estimate, as they come into Mazda this time. That's a long left-hander on the track. And behind the paddock is still Lee Johnson from PJ Jacobsen. And McCormick still back there in 3rd place. He's actually lost a wee bit of ground, I think, that last half lap.
and Lee Johnson riding the Ducati Panigale, which is a 1200cc engine. It's a V-twin configuration. PJ Jacobsen's GSX-R 1000 is a 1000cc 4-cylinder across the frame engine, but big differences there. But as you can see them under brakes, a lot of different styles, both bikes moving around quite a lot, so these guys are really on it.
And it's a super slim figure of Lee Johnson that's still in the lead. He's 22, 23 years old, and PJ and behind him, he's still only 18 years old. That meant he was only 14 years old when he raced the 125 here in Mondello Park the last time he was in Ireland.
And some great action from these riders here. PJ Jacobsen, Lee Johnson battling it out, both hard on the gas. You see the bikes, George, they're really beginning to move around now. The tyres are really hot, they're losing traction. You see PJ slides again there as they drive through Mazda on the way up to Dunlop Corner, but maybe Lee Johnson's gained a slight advantage in that lap.
Into Dunlop Corner for the last time but one. Lee Johnson leads from PJ Jacobsen. McCormick is still in there in third place. All three riders over the curb on the outside of the bend.
And it looks like PJ Jacobsen got a great drive out of Dunlop, and he's diving up the inside of Lee Johnson there, so he pushes Lee slightly wide. So PJ runs wide, so that allows Lee Johnson back to the lead again. So it's Lee Johnson back from PJ Jacobsen.
But you can rest assured that PJ will have another go back at Lee Johnson again. They're on the final lap. Don't forget, there's very, very little daylight between those two guys. Round Bridgestone for the final time. Back towards Mazda corners. Lee Johnson still has that slight advantage.
2 corners to go and Lee Johnson leads, but he's under huge pressure here from PJ Jacobsen. PJ drops back, he's hoping to get a good drive, and he does. So PJ's right on the back wheel of Lee Johnson as they climb up towards Dunlop Corner here. Lee defends nicely, but PJ's trying to go around the outside. Can that work? And that's a big slide from PJ, so that's really going to cost him any chance of a victory.
Lee Johnson gets the Masters final, and it's a great result for Davy Hare on a super sports bike. Brian Coomey is the cup winner.
Delighted, Jim. Absolutely over the moon. I've been pushing hard, chipping away, I suppose, at the lads, getting a bit closer all year. Hopefully go on and build on this and, give this Masters Cup a run, and see how we go.
Lee Johnson gets the Norman Brown Trophy, a kiss from Jack Kennedy, and a big check for the Mill Sports team.
Couldn't be happier, to be honest. Obviously, my own personal condition at the minute's not that good, but hopefully I get a bit of rest during the week and get myself sorted out, so more physio, and I'll be ready to rock and roll at Donington.
With 1 round still remaining in the Adelaide Masters series, there are still 75 points available in both classes. Brian McCormick continues to lead both, but he is far from safe. Join us for the showdown on the 6th and 7th of October.